Hello, everybody. This is Brandon Martinez. First episode of the Brandon Martinez podcast. I'm going to be starting today. And I just got back from a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu competition class, actually. And I've only been doing it for about a month now, a little over a month. And I actually thought I was going to probably die about halfway through the class. And I'm glad that I did it because I'm going to be competing at the IBJJF in April 21st, I believe it is. And I guess it's good to, even though I had no idea what I was doing, it was good to just try and get a little better, I guess. Because I definitely think I got maybe 0.02% of jiu-jitsu now, maybe. All right, but first, let's get this out of the way. So what I want this podcast to be, kind of like Joe Rogan's podcast, how he can just talk about like anything. At first, I'll probably focus more on like jujitsu and stuff, diet, exercise, all that, because I guess I don't really know a whole lot about jujitsu, but something I'm really interested in, as well as diet and exercise. I used to be really overweight, not really overweight, but pretty overweight. I think I lost 56 pounds now. I'm 159. My heaviest was 215 back in June. And yeah, so I mean, it'll probably be a while before I get any guests on here. For, I don't know, probably the first few months, it's probably just going to be me just talking about anything. And let's see, so what I'm going to be doing for the next month, really focusing on, is just focusing on my fitness and everything. And let me check something real quick. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But in particular, I'm going to be lifting weights 3 times a week, start trying to build some muscle. It's been a long time since I've lifted a weight, probably years actually, now that I think of it. But I'm going to be doing a 5x5, which is, if you don't know what 5x5, I really don't know too much what a 5x5 is really, but the first day is bench press, squats, and deadlift, I think. I don't know, I have an app, it's called Strong Lifts 5x5. And I'm just going to be using that for, I don't know, unless I find something better. There's actually a guy I go to jiu-jitsu with who's a personal trainer, and he said that he might give me some exercises, weightlifting exercises, if I'm interested. And then I'm also going to be swimming. I don't know how to swim yet, actually, so I'm going to be learning how to swim. And then I'm going to also be doing the Wim Hof method. And if you don't know who Wim Hof is, he's also called the Iceman, I believe. And he basically found a way that a certain way how to like control your breath, basically gives you like resistance to the cold, gives you more energy and stuff like that. And being able to control your breath is really important in jiu-jitsu, or at least that's what I've been told. So I'm going to be trying to do that every day. I'm also going to try and start meditating every day as well, and just get more focused, better memory and all that. And then, let's see. I'm also going to be trying to eat a lot cleaner. I'm going to be mainly just like eggs, broccoli, cucumber, celery, a bunch of vegetables, and then for protein, well, eggs, as I said already, but then chicken, fish like tuna, salmon, and cod. And that's about it. Well, I'm also going to be doing whey protein shakes, probably with just peanut butter, banana. And that's about it really for diet. I'm going to be trying to go low carb as well, because I'm trying to get down to featherweight for the IBJJF, because I'll be a really small lightweight if I go on that, because I still have a decent amount of fat to lose. And so the IBJJF is in April. And to prepare, I'm going to be trying to do jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. And then also for, I'm gonna be lifting weights 3 times a week. Then I'm gonna learn how to swim. That'll be like a little extra cardio for me. Then I'm also a busser, so I do a lot of running around already. Oh, and then I'm gonna actually kind of make a deal with myself. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to say, well, not really deal with myself, but so for the after the jujitsu tournament, I'm gonna want to like celebrate in some way. What I decided to do is I made a top 5 list of restaurants I'd want to celebrate at, and depending on how I do with like everything in general, would be for how I like what restaurant I can go to. Like for 5, I have Crave, which is a burger place, nothing special. 4, I have U House, this place I work at, a little nicer, but I've been there. I've eaten there a bunch of times. Then 3, I have Bar Brothers and Grill. Then for 2, I have Snooze Breakfast Place. Then for 1, I have a tie between Cho Lon, which is supposed to be a really good modern Asian eatery, the Izakaya Den, and Sushi Den. I made a minimum requirements for number 1, and that's to be able to learn how to swim, to do the Wim Hof method every day, take cold showers every day, meditate every day, eat 100% clean, no cheating at all between now and April 21st, then lift weight 3 times a week, do ab exercise every day, be enrolled in college, finish a good chunk of the book It. I mean, I might be able to finish it in a month, but that'd be kind of hard because like 800 pages or something. Then go to at least one, well, there's only one competition class a week actually, but go to every competition class at the compound. Then go jujitsu at least 3 times a week. And do yoga at least once a week. Be at 145 to 146 pounds at 15% body fat. And right now I'm at 159.4. So I have a good amount of fat to lose. I actually have quite a bit of fat I need to lose. I don't really have a whole lot of muscle on me either. So I'm hoping to lose about 16 pounds of fat and put on 2 pounds of muscle. And then that should definitely put me in the featherweight division. I'd be a pretty heavy featherweight, but be kind of cutting it close. And then I want to do a back exercise every day because my back's a little messed up. I have a fracture in my lower back. Then I'm going to want to journal more and win at the IBJJF. Win one. I'm not sure how it works actually, but I guess win again. I'm not sure if it's just one opponent or if a bunch. But I want to win against one person. Let me check this real quick. Okay. Give me 1 second. I have to check something. Sorry. All right, let's see. Where was I? So yeah, so my physique goals, I guess, it's gonna be 145 specifically at 15% body fat. I don't know how doable that is in just a month, but that's what I'm gonna shoot for. And then let's see. So I'm actually gonna go on an ayahuasca retreat in mid-April, about a week before the tournament. I forget the. Let me. Oops, sorry. There we go. I forget the name of the retreat. It's like, or not Ortega. That's a beef jerky brand, but it's something very similar to that. Orega, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna be going. It's gonna be 4 days, I think. Someplace in Elbert, Colorado, or Ebert, something like that. All right, so let's see. So right now, I'm a busser at View House. It's a sports bar, but it's actually got pretty good food. And I'm trying to move up to a server because I've been working since the Littleton one opened back in June. That was how I lost a lot of weight, actually. I used to be 215, lost 55 pounds in about 4 months, and I kind of went back and forth on gaining some, then losing some. But now I'm starting to definitely just start losing more fat. And I want to move up to a server, not only because it'd be more money, but it would also mean that I wouldn't have to be like lifting bus tubs and kegs like all the time. I mean, usually barbacks lift kegs, but they only work nights. I usually work mornings. And that'd be a lot. It'd give me a lot more time to, well, energy to focus on training for jujitsu, the IBJJF that's coming up. And sometimes it's like slow and it's just the stairs they give me, but sometimes like St. Patrick's Day, I worked 12 and a half hours and I never stopped, never took a break or anything. Well, I took a break right before I went home, but that doesn't really count. And that was a long day. Actually, one of the bartenders, Shane, he worked like 20 hours, like from open to close. We made like 1,100 bucks, so I guess it was worth it. But want to be a server, more money, more responsibility. I used to be a really, really bad introvert, if you couldn't tell already. And so working at View House really helped me like break out. I didn't completely break out. It wasn't until really, I would say, jujitsu really like boosted my confidence. Realize that the worst thing that someone's gonna do in a conversation if I act weird is just like not talk to me again. It's not the end of the world or anything. And I'm still a little introvert. I used to have social anxiety. I definitely don't have it as bad, if I have it at all, as I used to. I'm not sure why, because both my parents are definitely extroverts, as well as my sister. I mean, my dad was kind of like a late bloomer a little bit, but so I guess it just took me time as well to break out of my shell and all that. And I'm gonna be going to college in the summer actually for a general arts degree. And I'm hoping to go into video game design, transfer somewhere else like CU or CSU. But the only problem with that is I don't really think that I could. I really love video games and I love like being creative and all that. But I don't think I could sit down for 10 hours a day and just stare at a screen. One, I don't really have that amount of focus right now. I'm definitely more focused now than I was 9 months ago, but I don't think I could do that like 5 days a week for the rest of my life. While it would be cool to put my creativity to use, it wouldn't really. I like moving around usually. Like that's why I like being a busser so much actually, because even when it's like slow. I mean, I can still just, like walk around, I'm never like really bored, I guess, there. And and it's usually getting busier now. Like there's less miss days than there are hit days. And so there's almost always something to do. And I'd really think that even though it's a lot less pay than like a programmer, video game designer would get paid at, like most video game companies, at least now prefer to be a busser or server. I want to be a server because I think it kind of forced me to be a little more like social. Obviously, you can't like be, well, you could be introverted as a server. I guess there's just a different approach to it. And if I were to become a video game designer, I would want to work for Naughty Dog, but I think they require you have like 4 years experience as a programmer, or designer, or whatever you want to be before you work there, since they have such a like high standard for everything. And the only problem with, well, not the only problem, but a few problems. So one, obviously I'd have to move to California, and I mean, if I'm making enough money, I guess I wouldn't really have to worry about the cost of living. I mean, cost of living is already pretty high in Colorado anyway. But I also don't like. I really like the jujitsu gym I'm at now. And while I'm sure there's a bunch of great ones in California, I like really love the one I'm going at now. I don't really want to leave, you know. So those are the major problems with that. But and then there also back to my original point, how I don't think I'd want to just sit down and stare at a screen forever. I mean, even if I'm sitting on like a physio ball, so at least I'm like kind of working my abs a little bit. Not really, but I think I go crazy after a while, especially because all the reviews I've read on Glassdoor or whatever, even the ones that are like good reviews, they all say that there's always a grind. There's always like make sure that your spouse or whoever is okay with you, working 12 hours a day. And also recently, I think, well, not recently anymore. It's been a couple months now, actually. It might have even happened last year. But I think a programmer at Naughty Dog, or yeah, I think it was programmer. I think he was like sexually harassed or something by a coworker, and they didn't do anything about it. They offered him like hush money, and I'm not sure how it got resolved, but it was kind of weird coming from such a prestigious company, and especially that they would try and like give him money to not talk about it. I'm not sure what happened to him. I'm sure it I'm sure the person got what they deserved, whoever sexually assaulted him or whatever happened. And I mean, another thing I'd like to do is open a business, but I don't really know what kind of business I would want to open, because I think I have a few, I think they're at least good ideas, like quote unquote $1 million ideas. And I don't want to say them because I want to take them, but they're not really like, they're more things that like people I think will buy for a while. Then something else will come along, then they'll buy that. Well, I could be wrong. It might be like a hit, but I don't really think it's like worth really investing time into right now. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that. I mean, I guess the best time would be to start now, but I think I'd rather want to open up a business or some sort. Like my best friend actually, he's only 22. He's already opening a business of his own. It's a tire storage facility, a seasonal tire storage facility, actually, to be more specific. And it's something that definitely people need. Definitely there's definitely a good amount of people who need to store their performance tires versus storing their like mountain tires, or I don't know, whatever you call them, for the snow and all that. But it's more of like an elite need. Like people who can afford that need that. So I think it'd be better for me to focus on something that like the common man need. Like what's something everybody needs. I have no idea really what that is, but I think that's what I would want to focus on if I were to open up a business of my own. And I guess I do have a lot of time to think about it. I'm only 19, but it's best to start early. I think Dan Pina, or is it Pena? I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he said the best time is to start early because the younger you are, the less emotional baggage you have. And when it comes, and if you're working 80 hours a week trying to build a business, like the more emotional baggage and like bad stuff you're carrying with you, the harder it is it's going to be to become successful. And I just watched this video today by, I think his name is Gary V, and he was saying from 22 to 30 he worked for 15 hours a day every day, and he finally became successful by like 36 or something like that. So that's definitely like a really big grind that if I found something that I definitely am like passionate for and believe in, like for business, then I would definitely want to do it. But I don't really have anything like that right now. And I have a few a few ideas, but I actually wanted to open up a dispensary at one point, and this was before I got my job at Visa, so it was more of like a desperate reach to not desperate reach, but it was more of a I don't really want to get a job, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna get a business loan or whatever, and then I'm gonna open up a dispensary. And I actually had a really good plan out for it. I had like a plan on the bank I was gonna get a loan from. I had a plan on how many workers I was gonna have. I had a plan for the location. I had a plan for pretty much everything. I knew how much we would need to make a month to pay the workers, to pay for the office space, and I had a 1 year plan and a 5 year plan and a 10 year plan actually, like completely mapped out. I probably spent like a good month on it, so it wasn't really like I did work hard on it, but it wasn't because I had a passion to open up a dispensary. It was just because I wanted to make a lot of money quick. But thankfully, my sister actually not she didn't drag me to a work event, but she more of strongly suggested because I didn't really have a bad experience working at Chick-fil-A, which was where I worked at before, but I really did not like it. I'm not sure why. It was super simple, I just had to take the person's order and restock cups, and that was pretty much it. But for whatever reason, like I only worked there for like I don't know. I was hired for like 3 months, but I only worked like I don't know, not even like 10 shifts because I sucked at it because I hated it so much. And for whatever reason, it was just like so soul crushing. And this time, I was like a really, really bad introvert. Like I was basically like borderline otaku. Like I hadn't left the house in like well, I just wouldn't leave the house actually. Like I'd probably go months at a time actually, like just not leaving the house, and all I do is play video games, eat, watch anime, eat, sleep, and repeat. And that was it. And I hated it. I got into a really vicious cycle of just eating and playing video games, not interacting socially with people, and it sucked. And I hated it. And for whatever reason, it made me like start lie more, like a lot more. Like at work, when my coworkers would ask me like, "What am I doing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm in school right now for animation or whatever." And I don't know why I would lie about it. Thankfully, I've like completely stopped that now. I've stopped that for a long time, and I think part of it was lack of confidence and being really shy and introverts thinking that if I say this, they're going to think less of me. Because when I first started working at View House, what I said was I worked at Chick-fil-A before, but the reason why I don't work there anymore is because I got fired, but it was because I think the story I said was somebody when I was opening, I never opened actually, by the way, but when I was opening one day, another coworker like spilled all the lemonade or something like that. And they blamed it on me. And the manager was there and was like, "Why did you do this?" And I was like, "I didn't do it." And he said, "Why are you lying to me?" I was like, "I'm not lying." And I just kept on like throwing that story at everybody. And eventually the guy fired me. When really the reason was kind of a bad reason, but it's completely valid, I guess, is that my boss said I wasn't enthusiastic enough, which is 100% true. And I mean, it kind of hurt because I was like, how could I mess up a job that's so easy? But I'm definitely glad I got out of it because even I only worked like 4-hour shifts, but every time that I would come home, I would just like pass out on the couch right away because for whatever reason, it was just like so mentally like draining and I was exhausted by the end of it. Whereas I could work for 12 and a half hours on St. Patrick's Day and come home and still have energy because I love it at View House. And I think one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it like gave me purpose again, I guess. It's not like I was living completely without purpose. Like I still had ambitions and all that, but I was just too lazy to follow them. And I I mean, I guess I can honestly say I'm definitely the best busser there. I mean, it's nothing really to brag about, like nothing to put on a resume or write home about. But I mean, all the managers actually said it as well. But I don't know. I'm sounding like I'm bragging now. But for me, I mean, I guess I was usually always a hard worker. But I just got into like a really bad rut to where I was like super lazy and I hated it. But working at View House, like everybody was like really appreciative of me for me like always going like a little extra and all that. And it felt nice to be appreciated by more than just my family, by people that I like didn't know at all. It was also nice to finally start like earning some money. And I want to say that it took me probably 2, maybe 3 months before I started finally getting comfortable saying I got fired from Chick-fil-A because I wasn't enthusiastic enough. And I mean, I still haven't told anybody at work that I used to be like an otaku pretty much, but I mean, I don't think that's I would fit the exact definition of it, but it was pretty close. Like, I never got a body pillow or anything, but it was bad. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the whole like Chick-fil-A. Well, wait, no, actually, so the way I got the job at View House, sister suggests I go to a hiring event because I'd been like out of work for a month and I was still in the mindset like how could I screw such an easy job up? And it was for View House and well no. So the job that I screwed up was for Chick-fil-A. But the hiring event was for View House. And I looked it up and I was like, it's gonna be a customer service job, even if I'm just busser. I'm still gonna have to deal with people, and I wasn't trained as a cook, so I couldn't be a cook. I mean, I guess I could have applied to be a dishwasher, but that would have been terrible. I probably would have hated it. So thankfully, I went with her, and it was actually kind of a funny story because we had to walk to the bus stop, and it was snowing pretty heavily the night before. We had to cut through the park that's near my house, and one of the trees in the park actually fell down from the weight of the snow. We had to climb over, and I was telling my sister, like, this is a sign. We need to just turn around, go home right now, and sign that we don't need to work there. But she convinced me to keep on going, and she, what was it? Oh, yeah, so she convinced me to keep going, and it was definitely for the best. But when we got there, I was definitely putting up a facade. Like, I was saying, "Oh, yeah, I love you house and all this and that, and, like, I'm really excited." And I was really, like, putting my best foot forward, I guess, to try and seem, like, likable and all that. And I definitely nailed the interview because I got a call from the director of operations, like, 2 days later asking me if I wanted to work as a busser. And in my head at the time, I was like, "Shit, I don't wanna work in customer service, I'm gonna hate it, I'm gonna be there for, like, a month and then get fired, and that's gonna be it." But instead, I said yes, and then he actually asked if my sister wanted to work there as well, but she had already gotten a job at an Irish pub called Lansdowne, and it it's really, I guess, interesting would be the word, of how I thought I was gonna, like, hate it so much. Like, when I was going through training, I mean, I guess I should have been with, like, the other bussers and food runners who were helping, like, put in furniture and tables and all that, the couple of weeks leading up to View House opening, but instead, I was where the servers and bartenders were actually training at the Centennial location, and I mean, all I had to do was just sit and listen, and that was it. Try the food when they brought it out. But at the time, I was still like a super, super, super introvert, and I got like nervous, just like trying to like take a bite of food because I was afraid I was gonna like knock the plate over or something. And everybody was gonna just like think this guy's an idiot. But thankfully, I got through that all right somehow. And thankfully, none of the managers ever called on me when asking questions. Well, one time we had to introduce ourselves, and I thought I was going to pass out because how nervous I was. But thankfully, um, everything went all right through that. There's actually, now that I think of it, there's only like another 6 people who have been working since the beginning. We started with like 60 people at least for staff. Now only like 10% of the original people are left now. It's kind of crazy. I think another one just quit recently, actually, one of the bartenders. And I'm not sure exactly why I like it so much. I mean, I guess I said earlier how I was being appreciated, but I think one big part of it is that I found it really easy. Whereas a lot of the other busters like complained a lot for like, oh, we do so much work and we don't get paid for what we're worth. When really they're doing like half the amount of work that I'm doing because they're like too lazy. I mean, I guess to be fair, a lot of them were in not a lot of them, maybe half were in high school and they're just getting summer jobs. So I guess at that age, a lot of people are the mentality like I just want to hang out with my friends over summer. But some of them were just lazy. That's definitely a good amount of them. But there are some really good ones too. There's actually one of the originals, I guess, is another buster named Josh. He's pretty good. I don't think he's ever been lazy or anything. And but I found it really easy for some reason, even though I was like way out of shape. I hadn't worked out in months, and I was running around all the time, and it was like nonstop almost for like the first month. And we actually had people line out, not never like lines, but there's been like very small groups of people waiting for it to be open, like half an hour before we're actually open. And I mean, that's kind of starting to happen again, but it's usually like maybe one person, like on a Friday or something. When it used to be like up to like 5 people on a Monday. Hopefully, it gets even busier because I definitely want to make enough money to where I can pay for my college out of pocket because I don't want to have student loan debt. Well, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't definitely don't want to have student loan debt and have to be paying that off for a while. And I think I'm almost have enough money saved up to pay for the first semester. Hopefully by the end of the well, no, I actually might have enough for the whole year now that I think of it. But hopefully by the end of April, I'll have enough for the second year because it's starting to get busy again. And I've always been pretty good at saving my money, so that shouldn't be a problem. I got kind of bad for a while back when I was a quote unquote otaku, but definitely not as bad as I would say most people my age. But I just found it to be easy, and I enjoy doing it because people, like I said earlier, are appreciative of me, and in general, for the most part, most of the people, besides some of the, I guess, lazy people, were really good workers and nice. I like them, and it's sad to see a good amount of them go, but I guess in the end, it's for the best. And thing that's kind of stuck with me, actually, I don't know, might sound it kind of sounds like me bragging, but might as well say it anyway. When I had my birthday dinner there, the manager, the same guy who I interviewed with and offered me the job, said that to me and my family that I was his favorite employee, and that was really good. That was also kind of like a confidence booster because we had so many people on staff, and for him to say that, it was the first time in a long time that someone besides like a family member complimented me, and it felt really nice. And yeah, I just want to be a server now so that I can make more money, hopefully work less hours. I mean, I guess I'd be fine with working the same hours as I do now. I usually average about 30 hours a week. Most work hours I've ever worked a week is probably 50, but that was when we first opened. Like the first 3 weeks, I was like working every day, like a double almost every day as well. So that was crazy busy. I think I might have actually maxed out at 55 hours, but I don't know, can't really remember. And in terms of View House, that's pretty much about it. Oh, actually, I have a recipe that I want to do. It's a burger recipe. I don't want to say because I don't want anyone to take it. But the corporate chef has, because what I asked of him was to give me the sales for all the burgers of the past 12 months, as well as the vegetarian options and desserts. Because I have a few recipes I would like to get. Well, I instead of give, I should say sell to View House because I know the place that makes a lot of money. I think they actually hold the spots for highest grossing restaurants in Colorado. I think Centennial is one, then Denver's two, and then View House is like 50. The Littleton one's like 50 because I mean, I guess a big part of it why it's so much slower is definitely the parking in downtown Littleton. It's terrible. And what I wish the owner would have done is there was a big lot across the street that was open space. It was just, dirt and grass, but someone bought it and started to make office space. And what I think he should have done was buy it and then make a parking lot out of it because he could have. It was definitely enough for like 40 plus cars at least. And it's also definitely a lot smaller. It's like 15,000 square feet, I think, versus Centennial's like 33,000 square feet. And then the Denver one's really big as well. I'm not sure how big it is though. And I think that we actually have are only using about 10,000 square feet because we have a big chunk that we just never like finished because I guess we were running behind with something when we were trying to open it. And what I think would be good if we put that like banquet areas because right now we just take up like a whole room for a banquet or like a big portion of one of the rooms. And if we can manage to fix up the other 5,000 square feet, that can be like banquet only rooms. And with summer coming up, there's definitely going to be a lot of private parties and all that that people are going to want to do. So the sooner the better on that. But right now, we just use it as storage. So it kind of works out. We usually put the liquor there and like tape extra tables for the courtyard. But I mean, it would definitely be better if we managed to turn at least one part of it to the banquet room or rooms because it's kind of divided into two sections, might be more than 5,000 square feet actually. But anyway, I'm actually getting off track. So I have one of the recipes perfected, which is the burger, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I asked him all the way back in like August, so it's going to be a year in a few months. And I talked to him at a staff appreciation party back in January, and he said he promised by the end of the month that he would get back to me. He hasn't, unless I lost the email or something, but I'm pretty sure that I was pretty diligent about that. So, I mean, it's okay, I guess, because it's not like I'm writing on it or anything. Like, it's not like my last hope, the thing I'm working towards like every day or anything. But it would be nice to kind of, well, first to see if they would actually want it because, well, I know that it's a really good recipe. They might not want it at all, but Chef Jose has been working in the industry a long time. So, if he was, depending on what he thinks of it, might be a good little, not confidence booster, but it'd be a compliment to my skills as a cook. And I also have an idea for a vegan milkshake. It'll definitely like be heavily inspired from the water course one that they have, but I definitely don't want to like completely steal it. So I'm kind of waiting on that one a little bit. I should have to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. I mean, it's not too important, but I've done a lot of the jobs at View House, so I mean, I guess I definitely, I guess, well, the VP said, I guess that, not I guess, but he said I definitely earned being a server. But the problem is, like, I know that I'm already good enough talking to people. I definitely am knowledgeable of the menu. But the only problem is that we only have 4 bussers now, and especially since it's gonna be getting busier soon. Well, it's already getting busier. It's only going to get busier from here, though, I should say. we need more bussers before we can take a busser to be a server. Like we're hiring a bunch more servers, kind of. I mean, it's not too big of a deal. Like me saying like four new servers for training, something like that. I mean, it's definitely a good thing. But I really wish that I could become a server just so that it's kind of one of the things like just so that I can see if I can do it or not. And I've already done a bunch of food running, food expoing, and bar backing, so I have a good knowledge of. And I've actually already talked to a lot of servers about like how to sell certain items. So I mean, I'm definitely better off, I would say, than a server coming in from training, even if they already have experience as a server, because I already know so much about ViewHouse and how the very successful servers do, like how they sell. Like one of them was saying how you can sell anybody anything as long as you know what you're talking about. And we actually had 5 bussers recently, but one of them, he only showed up to like 3 out of his 7 shifts, or like probably 10 actually. He was only here like 2 weeks. So, it's safe to assume that he doesn't work here anymore because he missed his last like 4 or 5 in a row. And so that sucks because it puts me a little further behind now. Plus, Josh, the other busser, wants to be a server as well, and he's definitely more extroverted than me. So, if they had to choose, I'm sure that they would put him as a server first, which is fine because, he's a hard worker and he's definitely earned it as well. But I just hope that I would rather that we both do it at the same time. That would be most ideal. But I wouldn't be surprised if they put if they put Josh as a busser, as a server first. Maybe a bartender, actually. 'Cause I think he said he wants to be a bartender. But yeah, it still wouldn't change the lack of bussers. So hopefully, I was hoping by March that I'd be a server. That's obviously hasn't happened yet, but it's okay, it's not the biggest deal or anything. It's already 11. Crap. Have to go jujitsu at 5 in the morning. It's actually at 6:30, but I have to wake up that early. It's not gonna be fun, especially with how hard I work tonight. It's not gonna be the most fun day tomorrow. And I usually have Wednesday and Thursday off, but I only have Wednesday off this week for some reason. It's probably because Corey quit. Well, he didn't quit, he just didn't show up. So it'd be more like he got fired. Because I doubt if he showed up tomorrow or I don't know, sometime that they would say, oh yeah, sure, just clock in or whatever. So let's see, plans for tomorrow. So 6:30 jujitsu. I might just watch. That might be all that I do because I'm already super sore now, so I can only imagine how I'm gonna feel tomorrow morning. But I want to definitely start lifting weights tomorrow. For the requirements for the number 1 restaurant, one of them was lifting weight 3 times a week. So I just made this list, so I'm still definitely gonna try and do all of this, like the whole ab exercises every day, cold showers, Wim Hof method, all that, like this week. But I don't think that I'm going to be able to lift weights 3 times this week. And it's actually probably best that I start midweek because one problem I kind of have is I have OCD. So my original plan was to go Tuesday this week. This was before I had my list or anything, but I wanted to do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for weights, the 5x5 program. But I wanted to go with my sister, but she couldn't go Tuesday. So I didn't want to go by myself because I'm kind of still a little self-conscious. Not nearly as much as even a month ago, but still, I wouldn't want to go to the gym alone. So it's probably best that I'm starting when it wouldn't be like perfect Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, repeat, when it's going to be Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, then repeat. So, for most people, it probably wouldn't be really a big deal or anything, but for me, it might be the first step to getting rid of my OCD. I guess I don't want to get rid of it completely because, there are some things that I guess it helps with, like in terms of like keeping my room clean and like knowing where everything is in my room. And that's about it. But well, I guess like in general, I think I'm a better organizer because of it. But yeah, so tomorrow, jujitsu, weights, and then work at 10:30. I'd definitely rather not work tomorrow because I'm already gonna be sore from today. Then I'm gonna go from jujitsu to weights to work, and it's probably gonna be pretty busy tomorrow. And I'm probably gonna be the only busser on, and we don't have bar backs in the morning, so I'll be taking care of the bars as well. But I'm sure I'm gonna be fine. I've had worse days. I've been for St. Patrick's Day for the first like I don't know 7 hours. No, like probably 8 hours actually, maybe a little less. But I was the only busser, and there's no bar backs, so I was taking care of 3 bars and both floors by myself. And I did fine. I did good, I should say actually. I was definitely tired, but I didn't think about it because I don't know. I don't think anybody was thinking about how tired they were till the day after. I know Shane wasn't because he was working 20 hours a day, and he already has another full time job at Best Buy anyway. So I don't even know how that man functions. He's probably not even a human. He's probably a machine. But yeah, that's pretty much it for tomorrow. Just yeah, I'm definitely gonna want to try and rest up tomorrow. I'll probably be taking the elevator a bunch of times instead of going down the stairs because it's already hard for me to go up and down the stairs now, especially down for some reason. During the jujitsu tonight, I actually started to get cramps in my calf muscles, both of them, double whammy. And I guess it was because I wasn't drinking enough water because I definitely warmed up enough. And so thankfully I didn't pull anything. But I probably should have stopped, but I'm a pretty stubborn person in general. So I kept on going, never took a break. Well, when I took breaks in between drills, but that was like we had 30 seconds between we had 30-second breaks to like every 6 minutes we had 30-second breaks when we were like going through like different sweeps, side control, mount, and all that. So I only took breaks when you were allowed to take a break. I don't think anybody else really. Well, a few people, because I wasn't the only like newbie. Well, there was only one other guy, but he's been doing it since December. So he's already pretty fit anyway. So he's definitely had more than me in terms of overall fitness and all that. But that should be it tomorrow. I'm actually going to send my ACT scores into ACC tomorrow, hopefully. So that, because I don't want to take a standardized test to see what level I'm at, because right now I'm not going to pass, I would say, because math used to be my strong suit. Well, not my strong suit, but it used to be my favorite subject. Then I got epilepsy, and then things kind of changed. And I started to suck at math. Yeah, I don't think I want to blame it completely on epilepsy. One part of it is it just not being my forte, really. But epilepsy definitely played a big role, I would say. And yeah, I'll talk about that more another time because it's starting to get late. I want to try and do an hour at least for today. I want to keep at least all my podcasts for about an hour, unless I have to stop for some reason halfway through. I want to probably do at least once a week, but I think I'd want to do it twice a week. The only problem I have is not being able to find stuff to talk about because I already covered a lot of stuff today, and I thought I'd be able to do an hour just with the list, but I mean, I guess that's maybe a good thing that I could improvise. But I guess the end goal for the podcast would be to, I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have a studio. Right now works fine because it's just me talking. That's it, really. But I would want to definitely, like I said, like at the beginning, is to have it like Joe Rogan's podcast where you can talk about anything with anybody. And he almost always has guests. And, even if he doesn't, he has Jamie, the guy who helps him out with, whatever he needs help with. And I mean, I think I'd be okay on just on my own. I mean, I could be wrong, but end goal would be to, I mean, I don't really want to aim for like a subscriber amount or anything because that's like my first goal would be just to have one listener. And I mean, I think I've hit that. I'm pretty sure one person like might have tuned in. I don't know. But in a year, I would want to have at least a dozen active active listeners. I mean, that might seem a small goal. Definitely isn't a large amount of people, but right now, I think that's a very safe goal. I mean, I definitely want to, I guess, shoot for the stars, but I also want to be realistic. So, I mean, a year, a dozen, that's a little low, but I guess I should, instead of saying a year from now, I mean, it might be a good way to kind of map out things like a year from now, I want this, a month from now, I want this, 2 years from now, I want this, etc. But for now, I am going to set goals like milestones. Like, my first goal is to have one active listener. And then second would be 2 active listeners. And then it might just be go up one by one until it gets to 10, then it'd be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. But for now, I just want one active listener. And then my next would be 2. And I mean, something I would also be interested in, depending on if enough people, I wouldn't probably do it until I got at least one active listener, or maybe 3, because I would want to stream video games. But I did it in the past. This was before I got into View House, and this was definitely because I didn't want to get a job. I just wanted to play video games and get paid for it. And I actually liked it, but I think I did it for too long. I was streaming on Twitch, and I was doing it every day for 5 hours. And after 5 days, I started to get burned out. And the 6th and 7th day, I actually kind of ruined the game Nier Automata for me in a weird way, because by the 5th day, I would say, is when I was like, okay, I have to play video games now. Because I actually got a pretty good setup for my like Twitch page and everything. I had a schedule for Monday through Wednesday. I think it was Monday through Wednesday, I was playing Final Fantasy 15. And then Thursday through Saturday, I was playing Nier Automata. Then Sunday, I was going to play Tales from the Borderlands. And I had it actually really like specific on I'm going to stream on Monday through Wednesday at this time. Then I'm going to do that same time for Thursday through Saturday, and then same time for Sunday. Like, it was going to be 5 hours. but I had it to where like week of March 2018 through 25th, 2017 is going to be these games. Then I went like a whole like 5 months ahead or something. Maybe not 5 months, but I think it was pretty decent for someone who's never streamed before. I mean, it definitely wasn't incredibly entertaining. I mean, I got the most listeners, not listeners, but the most viewers that I've ever got was 3, I think, and it's definitely not nothing to brag about really, but I was proud of it. I never got an active person, which is fine, but I mean, I definitely wasn't the best speaker or entertainer really. I didn't have a face cam because I was too self-conscious about my face and all that. And but I think this podcast is gonna help me with that, be more comfortable on camera and to I don't know, be a better speaker. That's definitely one of my goals. I mean, I wrote a bunch of goals down today actually of things I want to. Well, actually, I wrote it back on New Year's Day, and I kind of refined it today because I've never really been a fan of New Year's resolutions. I think they never really like very few amount of people actually do one of them. So instead, I just made a list of things that I want in 2018. Not like material things, but like one of them would be like, I want to learn how to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and stuff like that. Or I want to be a better speaker and stuff like that. And I'll probably go through the whole list on I don't know, maybe Monday. I think Monday would probably be best because I work nights on Mondays. So I could do the podcast through the day right after jujitsu probably. And I think that's what I'm gonna do my next podcast next Monday around I don't know, probably 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. on Mountain Standard Time. I think that's what Colorado does. Or is it general GMT? Yeah, General Mountain Standard Time. And I think that's it for now. I've been going over a little an hour. I think it's a good time to stop. Well, thank you for listening or watching. And I'll be back on Monday. All right. Have a good day.